What is up, people? Welcome to my 2024 award show. A lot of cool shit happened this year and I'm gonna talk about it. So let's start with video of the year. I've been talking a lot about videos. It's probably my favorite thing to nerd out on in the mountain bike world. So coming in at number 3 is one out of left field. It just got posted 2 weeks ago. It's Inferno by this random crew of teenagers out of British Columbia, it looks like. And God bless whoever edited this video, because it was edited so sick. You know, the writing in this video isn't world class, but the way it's all put together, like the editing and the style and the music just carry the edit so heavily. And then even though they're not doing like groundbreaking stuff on their bikes, like they seem to be riding on the edge of their ability, which is always exciting to see. And they're good enough that they can like tastefully ride a lot of features. And overall, the vibe of that crew and the way they put that video together was like hilarious and got me hella fired up. So props to those guys. That came after I was kind of like talking smack on like maybe there not being a bunch of quality edits out there, especially from younger riders. And then that thing popped up on the internet and got me stoked. So check that out. Worthy of 3rd place in video of the year. In 2nd place, we got Brandon Semenuk, but it's maybe not the video you might think of. I actually think In the Know was Brandon's best video this year. There was that big Afterlife video, which I think was his main launch. Like the Afterlife video is like an artistic masterpiece, but it's got more slope style tricks. It's more of a trick oriented video, but the In the Know piece was just like so dynamic. He was on a trail bike and he was doing like dumped threes over like a natural ridge into a chute. Just like the landscape of that video and how he was able to use the terrain was just really sick. And I liked the vibe. It wasn't maybe as serious as some of his other videos. I really liked the song choice. I think the editing flowed really well with it, and I think it really highlighted some of Brandon's best riding in Utah. But every video this year does not even come close to comparing to what is my video of the year, which is Sandscape Eternal. I think this is my favorite mountain biking edit of all time. This video checked all the boxes for me, and what I really appreciate is I feel like Brage with his videos brings like emotion back into it. I think that's maybe one thing with Brandon's that kind of leaves me feeling a little disconnected with them is like, or just like removed. They're amazing pieces of art, but there's just like not a sense of emotion like from Brandon at all. And like, I think Brage, you can just tell he's like so fired up. I don't think I've ever seen someone attack big mountain terrain like that. You know, it's fucking gnarly. So I think a lot of people ride kind of scared, not because they're bad, but just because that's the way it is. And I've just never seen someone ride with that sort of aggression in that terrain. The location was absolutely nuts. It looked like they were on some alien world out of Star Wars. And like, if you just pause the video at any point, like besides the riding, the visual landscape of where they were at and what they were riding is just impressive on its own. But then what Brage was able to do in that terrain and ride, like he was willing to die. Like that's the vibe I got. I'm like, holy fuck, dude. This guy is absolutely sending it without any regard for his life. I think Nico Vink was an excellent person to have on set for that shoot, but like Nico Vink is a gnarly human, and it looked like Nico was riding scared compared to what Brage was doing on the bike. And to have that edit be like 17 minutes long and be like riding footage all the way through, like I expected it to be kind of 6 to 7 minutes of riding footage. And then a lot of edits now are having like a back end of like B-roll and like more of the story. But it was like start to finish sending, like the gnarliest big mountain lines I've ever seen. And the music was perfect. Like I'm kind of a doom metal fan, so to have those songs on there, especially Dope Smoker by Sleep, which is like maybe the most iconic doom metal song out there. I think it was used so well with the writing, and I've really missed having some heavy metal back into mountain biking edits, and Brage's definitely bringing that back into the picture in like such a tasteful way. I thought the pacing of the video was really well matched with the edit, and it kind of like built into these like crescendo moments of sending with the drops of the songs. I mean, I could keep going on. It just was like such an iconic piece. I'll be talking more about Brage later in this video, but for now, Sandscape Eternal is my video of the year. Like by far, it's not even close. Like nothing I've seen this year or in a long time even comes close to that video. And I'm stoked it exists. So before we move on to the next category, I wanted to share a quick little story with you guys. If you've been following the channel, you'll know that I've hit my head a lot. I've had quite a few concussions. And one of the better ways I've found to help recover from that injury and promote brain health is through supplementation. And I've had a number of sponsors reach out to me because the channel and the weekly show is kind of blowing up hot right now. And I'm pretty picky with who I choose to work with, but when I got an email from Magic Mind, I was super excited because this is a mental performance shot that has a lot of the same ingredients I already take on a daily basis, including a complex of B vitamins, vitamins C and D, turmeric, and lion's mane, but it also has a lot of other compelling natural ingredients that I've actually been interested in taking separate of this shot. They sent me a batch of product and I've been taking these shots for about a week now, and I've been really stoked on these. I don't take this as like a replacement for my morning coffee, but taking this kind of shortly after that, mid-morning, it has really helped with like that afternoon crash that I sometimes get. I've especially liked it taking it before a ride. Sometimes I want like a little bit of a boost, but drinking like an energy drink or more coffee makes me kind of jittery, and it makes it kind of hard to get into that flow state when I'm riding. This gives me like a nice, noticeable energy boost, but it's just like a calmer, more focused type of energy. And I've really liked the way it makes me feel in my day-to-day life, but especially when I'm like riding. And I'm gonna be taking this for a little bit longer too. A lot of the ingredients are supposed to like build over time, but about a week in now, I've been really stoked on it. So Magic Mind is gonna be sponsoring this video. Check out the link in the description for a nice little discount, and it helps support the channel. All right, thanks for sticking through that, team, but we're on to the next segment, Rider of the Year. And I guess this is more like Freerider of the Year. I'm gonna like touch on the racing side. I'm gonna make that separation, also male and female. Go like male, non-racer athlete of the year. So in third place, I'm giving it to Tom Van Steenbergen. The comeback Tom made this year was super impressive. What he did was like pretty groundbreaking. I mean, pretty much it comes down to him doing a huge ass front flip, you know, like the biggest front flip in history, and going hella X Games mode for his real MTB edit. And those two things are like big enough to be like, all right, I think he deserves third place, man. Those two pieces of work are both incredibly gnarly. Moving on to second place, the Don, Brandon Semenuk, was gonna be in here somewhere, and for me, he's second. He had a super productive year, releasing 3 significant edits. You had the In the Know video that I talked about earlier, Sever, the one with Ryan Howard as well in Santa Cruz, and then the big one was Afterlife that he missed last year's Rampage to shoot. And he won Rampage this year. So obviously he's gonna be in the mix. Brandon's kind of the GOAT. I mean, in every one of these videos and in Rampage, it's kind of like an iconic performance. He does stuff that's like you've never seen done before in that way, especially watching these videos again, is like he's doing stuff that is so buck wild sometimes, but he pulls it off so smoothly. Or like, I don't know, it is buck. Like I can see he's like on the fucking edge, but he manages it in a way that it looks like he's smooth and dialed, and he makes it look really good. What's even crazier is I think he also like won a rally championship. Was another athlete who was even more productive. Brage again had like the most insane year, and I think he just made like a super big impression on the sport. So there's the Sandscape Eternal, which is like an absolute masterpiece. He had a This Is Home segment with Shimano. He had the signature pedal release with BergTech, which was another banger video. He also had Lost Wisdom, which he published on his own YouTube channel early in the year, which was another banger. Like, the dude doesn't miss. I've loved all of his videos. And then he also had probably like the landmark segment in Anytime, the Anthill Films full-length release. He's representing a side of mountain biking that I don't think we've been super in touch with. Maybe there's counterexamples to this, but I just see Brage as someone who's like riding with raw emotion. You know, in Anytime, he had this like quote that was so good, and he's like, "I'm fucking angry. I want to find out." Like, I just want to go in there and find out if I'm going to die or not. And I'm like, that's what I want to hear. Like, just like a real dude. I think that's what I'm maybe trying to get at, is I feel like he's really authentic as himself. It comes across in his videos. What he represents in the sport is really inspiring, and I think mountain biking definitely needed that character. And he's stepped up to the plate and is fucking killing it. That's my rider of the year. Again, kind of like by far. I haven't been like as big of a fan of someone in a while. Female, I guess, non-racer of the year. I'm gonna give a shout out to all the girls that competed and were a part of the first year of Women's Rampage. I think they pulled off an awesome event, and that was a big moment for the sport. But I think the female rider of the year definitely has to go to Robin Gooms. Her run, I think, really made that event. She threw down a pretty insane run in a really high pressure situation, and I think her run really helped carry that event and like put a stamp on it that like women's free ride has arrived. Super impressive, and yeah, a huge moment for the sport as a whole. Let's get into the racing side of things. Man, it was a hectic year for racing. So I've got my podium selected for Racer of the Year, and in third place, got to be my boy Dakota. You know, results-wise, kind of swung and missed a few times, but I think without Dakota on the circuit this year, it would have been so much less entertaining. Took us on an emotional roller coaster throughout the entire year, man. And I think brought a lot of drama and quality riding. I mean, I don't know if there's a more exciting rider, from his freaking bar setup, all the trinkets he's got on his bike, his riding style, how fast he is, and the fact that he was like so close to the sharp end. I mean, he was at the sharp end. He just like, I don't know, it was always that question mark going into every race. Like, what's Dakota gonna do? Visually, like watching him ride, he's maybe one of the most exciting riders, just because he's one of the only riders that I think is taking different lines and is doing like some Sam Hill type sorcery shit where he's bringing out like different lines in his race runs. Now that I'm talking about it, I feel like I should have placed him higher. Either way, in second place, next rider, Ronan Dunn. Like, did you see it coming for him to show up at the first World Cup and win the damn thing? You know, it's just impressive. And I think on the same lines of Dakota, he's always someone that makes the race more entertaining, whether he wins or he doesn't. It's just like, it's on whenever he's on track and I'm paying attention. And then he legit has the facilities to win the race. And when he does it in a pretty fucking badass way. So, I mean, that whole Mondraker team is just like, I think it's the sickest team out right now. They're doing a lot of cool stuff with the bikes. They've got like the two most entertaining riders on the circuit, in my opinion. And yeah, I just love what's going on there. But in first place for Racer of the Year, how are you not going to choose Omri Piron? To come back from such a significant injury and put down a handful of runs that are in the conversation of like best run ever. We haven't seen time gaps like these that he put down in some of those race runs in the latter part of the year in a long time. I mean, the conversation is like, oh, everyone's at such a high level, such fine margins. And then a couple races back, Omri comes out swinging and just makes everyone look like an idiot. I think it put a really interesting slant on the whole season. Loic had the luxury of being really far up in the points when Amaury was popping off. But I am so pumped for next year to see those guys clash head to head. I'm hoping that having Amaury and the rest of the field kind of taking a step forward, that they'll put pressure on Loic to push him to that level. And hopefully, I don't really care who wins, but I would just love to see Loic get pushed to a higher level and maybe come out swinging and get some of these Amaury performances that we saw last year, or just like more races on that level. Because I think he's actually just as capable of that, but he's not going to go do that unless he needs to. That's at least my take on it. But regardless, I don't need to talk about Loic too much. But Amaury, I think by far, he didn't win the championship or world champs or anything like that, but by far, I think the most impressive comeback and performances of the year were done by Amaury. So, you didn't win the championship, bud, but you got Brian's Racer of the Year. So that should be coming with a salary increase for you next year. So moving on to Female Racer of the Year. I mean, I'm going to give Valley Hole third place just because she's just a dominant force in the women's category and has such sick style, and I don't know, it's just such a powerhouse that I couldn't not include her. She gets third place because I was more stoked on a couple other riders, even though she kind of held it down on the results side of things. Gracie Hemstreet is my second place rider. I think she had some really good results this year, but the main reason is because she held it down at Hardline Tasmania. I think it's awesome that there's a women's category in Hardline now, and she held it down with a sick-ass run, and that course was fucking gnarly. And she made it look good. But in first place, my Female Racer of the Year is Anna Newkirk. For her to be on what I understand is a really bare bones privateer effort, to get second at the finals in Leogang is so sick. Like, it looks like they're working on their own bikes. They're pretty much dirt bagging it through Europe, living the privateer racer dream, and she's gotten some sick results this year. It helps that she's on Team America. I feel like we've really needed an American female athlete to kind of pop up and arrive on the elite World Cup circuit, and she has stepped up to the plate. I feel like there's good things in her future. There's talk of her getting some legit support next year. I think with a team behind her and another year of experience, she'll be like a legit threat. So Anna's my Female Racer of the Year, and I'm really fired up to see what she gets up to next year. Let's get into some tech. So Product of the Year. I don't even have a podium for this. I just have my winner. Honestly, not a whole lot of stuff that I'm like, I don't know, that's really inspiring. I'm testing a few things now that maybe could be on this list. My Product of the Year is the Williams Racing Products Zero Drag DT Swiss internals. A lot of bike parts nowadays, upgrades, it's like managing a trade-off. It's better in this area, it's worse in that area. This is a product that I think pretty much has no downsides. Like, you just have no drag. That's sick. And it's retrofittable into a hub standard that tons and tons of riders are using. And in my opinion, it's almost like a guarantee that this hub helped Troy Brosnan win the Mont Saint Anne World Cup. Troy won by 600ths of a second, and that is a almost 4-minute long track that's really fast, has a lot of rolling speed. It's hard to quantify how much the system helps, but I mean, you gotta think that it helped 600ths of a second. Spent some time with the founder, Mick. He's just a sick dude, a really skilled rider, and just has like a really good eye for creating stuff that just makes sense in the mountain bike world. And I think this hub is an excellent example of that. It's really smart. So I would love to try one out, Mick. But I know there's quite a demand for these things because it is just like, it's a quality product. Like I said, there's not many downsides besides it costing money. Moving, kind of on the same vein, Bike of the Year. I rode a lot of good bikes this year, but none that really make me think this is the Bike of the Year. I don't know if I'm qualified to call this one, honestly, but without even riding all the bikes, The Framework bike, that one looks pretty compelling. Also, the Madonna V3, got to give that one a shout out. Like, that kind of looks like everything I want in a bike, but without riding it, I don't know. Honestly, my Giant Rain e-bike has probably been one of the better riding bikes I've ridden this year. But for the sake of this context, I'm saying fuck all that shit. Modern bikes suck. My bike of the year is the 2007 Iron Horse Sunday. I called that bike up out of retirement early in the spring, did a downhill race on it, took it to Whistler, spanked it pretty hard for a couple weeks riding downhill laps, and the thing just galloped along, and I had so much fun on that bike. Put down a pretty decent time at the race, and yeah, I don't know, just back to basics. That bike fucking rips. So my bike of the year, 2007 Iron Horse Sunday. Go get you one. I don't think you'll regret it. All right, another segment that I almost forgot to include is Slam of the Year. And man, I feel like this was kind of a gnarly year for slams. But straight into it, Lewis Buchanan, third place. I mean, I think he was probably vying for the top spot in this category, but I'm putting him in third because his crashes were kind of scary. You know, I like a crash that's like entertaining and flamboyant. His crashes were kind of serious, but to put 2 crashes out this year at that magnitude, really productive year. And definitely, I mean, if we're doing another category like most viral moment, which I'm not going to cover because that's kind of cringe. No one deserves a prize for most viral moment, but if we were doing that, I think Lewis might have claimed that one because those 2 crashes definitely got people talking, including myself because I'm talking about him here. So good job to Lewis. Good luck on your blooming freeride career. Hope that we don't encounter any more crashes on this magnitude anytime soon. So moving into second place, we have Finn Smith's big old cartwheel down a big ass hill in Santa Cruz. I'm a huge fan of this crash. I think comedic value is off the charts. It's a really flamboyant, long crash. You know, you can laugh at him because of how bad this crash is. You got out of it smooth and then getting smacked in the head by a rock. Good on you, Finn. Had a few this year that could have made it on the list, but that one's by far the best. All right, and winner of Slam of the Year is Arlie Connolly with straight up one of the most diabolical crashes I've ever seen. It's horrible, and I'm only laughing because somehow he was okay. I have no idea. This could have easily been a career ender. And yeah, it just seems like he lost control kind of at the top of the chute and then just couldn't contain the speed and just exploded going really fast. And I don't think I've ever seen a bike fly that far down the hill going so fast. So congrats, Arlie. Goated crash, and you got the dub. So you can take that one to the bank. Biggest freeride moment of the year. Man, there are some big ones. I would say in third place has got to be the randos hitting Brendan Fairclaw's line. I know he wasn't a fan of that, but that's just like freeride as fuck. Like Brendan's line is already like a really great encapsulation of freeride, and when he wrote it, it was sick, but I think it was almost sicker to see these randos roll up and lace it up, honestly, hella clean. I mean, Brendan did it better for sure, but I think that was like pretty punk rock. In second place, kind of already touched on it, but like the front flip that was heard around the world. Tom Van Steenbergen chucking that thing off that drop is like so diabolical. I mean, how could you not like rank it in this? But probably the freeride moment of the year was the Tom Eistedt just drop insanity, that like huge canyon gap drop where he just like was out of control for the entire run out and somehow held onto it. That was like some of the most buck wild riding I've ever seen, and like that's a clip I can watch like over and over again, and you're just in disbelief of how he kept that together. So that's my freeride moment of the year. I'm gonna finish it up with my final category, maybe the most important. We've got the memer of the year, and there were some excellent performances out there. So in third place, I got to go to P. Hucker Society, a pretty niche meme page that seems to be based mainly out of Santa Cruz, a lot of like Santa Cruz Loc style type memes. My favorite of theirs is the Ibis meme, which is hardly just a meme, it's more just facts. If Ibis adjusted the trajectory of their company to align with this meme, I think they would actually be better off for it. I don't know, it was just a good meme made by a writer who knows. In second place, this was a close one, but in second is Trail Clones. Not the most productive year, I think like 4 or 5 posts this year, but the man doesn't miss. Whoever is running that page is very in touch with mountain biking culture, and he just touches on a lot of things that are fucking hilarious, and he has some really good, or I don't know, who knows who it is, maybe it's a she, but whoever's running that account has some quality takes on some hot topic issues in the mountain bike world. You know, rallying against flow trails, commenting on the rampage scene, making fun of influencers like myself. All of it is really on point, and I legitimately laugh out loud almost every time I see a Trail Clones post. So they are a asset to the mountain bike community. Protect Trail Clones at all costs, because we need our hero at work out there making fun of whatever whack shit comes to his mind. But in first place, my memer of the year is Michael Bicycles. Is that even the name, dude? I can't even say this. Michael Bikel. Is it Michael Bikel? Holy shit, I'm Mycicles Bikel, okay? Mycicles Bikel. But Bikel's memes hit hella hard. He loves to poke fun at trek shops and make some suggestive jokes, which I think are quite tasteful. But a big reason why he's in #1 place is that he reposts a lot of my videos for some reason, and that does not go unnoticed. A loyal story liker as well. Keep those memes going, and yeah, as long as you keep reposting my videos, we'll be homies. So whenever I make it big, you'll be taken care of. But I think that's about all I got. Let me know if I missed anything, if you've got any categories or athletes or products that I should have included in the mix here. And don't forget to click the link in the description to get a discount on Magic Mind. Also, consider supporting on Patreon. Got a pretty rad little community over there. You get the videos early, and it's a great way to support the channel. But other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.